The latest and the main event for night one of WrestleMania. We thought we were going to get Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair, but looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Kevin Owens are going to be closing out WrestleMania Saturday. Plus, we got some more news on Bayley, who's cleared to return. She's going to be coming back. Hopefully, maybe we see her at WrestleMania. We got some news on the Hardys making a debut at Triple A. And Johnny Gargano opens up on his early days in his WWE contract negotiations. We're going to jump into all of that in a special edition of Top Story with Bill Apter joining us today ahead of WrestleMania. Here we go. Let's get started. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! What's up, everyone? Another special Top Story edition, WrestleMania week. It's Tuesday. Kevin is in Austin. We got Bill Apter in the show. We got Jeremy Bennett. It's a star-studded event. Gentlemen, how are you today?
Wait a minute. What? You're kidding me. Seth Rollins? We now know the opponent? Bayley?
Wow. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
It broke right here on Top Story. Hi, guys. Great to be on the show again.
Gentlemen, we got a full show today. We got
always good to have you, Bill.
It's always great to have you on the show, as Bill, as always. We did want to get your take on some big news that's been going on since yesterday. You know, Will Smith slapped the taste out of Chris Rock's mouth, and a lot of people started messaging me. They're like, hey, we want to know Bill Apter's take on this because of Andy Kaufman and Jerry the King Lawler back in the day. So, like, what's your take on all of this?
Well, you know, I put, as a New Yorker, it's Andy Kaufman, you know.
Kaufman.
But I put the two of them together. I was the guy who introduced them to each other, and they put the key in the ignition, and they took it from there. That was so perfectly orchestrated. No one, including the wrestlers in Memphis, knew whether that was real or not. And I was there behind the cameras at the Letterman show, along with the PWI editor Craig Peters, and we photographed the whole Letterman thing with the slap, and we never knew it was coming. We really didn't find out until afterwards at the hotel. When I walked into Jerry Lawler's room. He and his wife Paula at that time were sitting on the corner of the bed, but somebody opened the door. We looked behind the door, and it was Andy. And he looked and he said, "What do you think?" I said, "Oh my God!" We had no clue. We had no clue. But the Chris Rock Will Smith thing, while you can't compare this, is because one was a perfectly orchestrated wrestling angle. This, unfortunately, in my opinion, was not staged. It wasn't orchestrated. The two of them have, Chris Rock and Will Smith, have been trading barbs for a long time on social media. The wife has been in the middle. If you watch the clip, you'll see that Eddie Murphy is laughing when Chris Rock mentions it, but his wife is sitting there and she went like this.
Yeah.
That, to me, if that was my wife, it's, why don't you get up and do something about this?
And he did.
That's what I think happened. Could he have hit him harder, like a lot of husbands say I would have knocked him out? Sure, but I think he just wanted to send a message, and he wasn't 1,000 or 100% sure that he really wanted to hurt Chris Rock. I think he just wanted to shock him.
Yeah, and it certainly did. It shocked the world a lot. It was just the only thing you saw on every single platform of social media the last 48 hours. But I love that you opened up about Andy Kaufman and Jerry the King Lawler, because you were there front, you were behind the scenes there, and I thought your take would be very interesting on this. But let's jump into some of the news.
Jose, also, a lot of people started talking about, I've got my Tic Tacs in my mouth. If I sound
sponsored by Tic Tac.
Yeah, back. Fruit Adventure. But a lot of people are talking about the one that preceded Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler, which was a shoot, and that was Dr. D, David Schultz, and John Stossel. Do you remember that?
I do not, but I've heard of that.
Oh my goodness. Jeremy, what about you?
I have not heard of that. No.
Okay, so John Stossel was reporting, I believe, for 2020 for the TV show. And he asked Dr. D, David Schultz, if wrestling was performance, if it was fake. And David Schultz knocked the hell out of him with a slap. No, but this was no joke. And this was not planned or anything. It was all over. There was no internet back then. Schultz was banned in a lot of areas after he did this. Stossel pressed a lawsuit. You could probably call it up and read more about it. But that was the first shot heard around the world in the wrestling business where a wrestler attacked a reporter, as we would say, as a shoot.
Yeah. And you remember, I mean, in the sports world, remember Jim Rome and Jim Everett? He kept calling him Chris Everett on his shows. And then so he brought him on, he called him Chris Everett on the radio shows, the female tennis player. And then he brought him into his ESPN2 show and he kept doing it and kept prodding him. And well, it got a little physical, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you see those things happen sometimes on
Take
TV.
a look at, probably on YouTube, you can find John Stossel attacked by Dr. D. David Schultz. It's very scary.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, you got to start thinking about that. And it's crazy because now, like a lot of like Kevin was talking about yesterday, like he's a comedian. So a lot of comedians are sounding off that now they got to worry about people coming up in their sets and, you know, slapping them in the face. So
Will Smith is going back touring next week. He's going to be in Atlantic City. And I'm not sure where else, but I can imagine what the crowd reaction is going to be like. Oscar Mania is running wild, brother.
Man,
we'll see how this all develops. But let's jump into some wrestling news of the week. We got this news today that we found out by good old Uncle Dave. The latest plans for the main event of night 1 of WrestleMania Saturday. What's the latest here, Jeremy?
It was previously reported that WWE wanted Owens and Austin to main event the show. First time that WrestleMania would not end with a match. In an update, it was reported that WWE has changed their plans with the SmackDown Women's Championship between Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey being the new main event. On the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, it was reported now that WWE is turning that steering wheel again, pulling another 180, and Austin and Owens are once again closing WrestleMania this Saturday. Hey, there's still time. It could probably change again by the time we get to Saturday night.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. I think anything can change between now and Saturday. Ain't that right, Bill?
That's right, son. Bottom line, though, is that people want to go home happy.
Yeah, in Texas.
What?
Oh,
so they want to go home happy, not just in Texas, in everybody's house, watching it on Peacock or in the movie theaters, right?
What?
So,
we got Kevin back. Looks like he got his technology back.
What?
I said what they're going to do is everybody wants to go home happy, so we're going to kick some Kevin Owens' butt. We're going to stun him.
Kevin Owens. I thought you said Kevin. I was like, I don't have any beef with Stone Cold. Don't get me in trouble.
Yeah, Bill's putting a hit out on Kevin in Texas right now.
Bill, please. Don't you? I know you are in deep with the wrestling mafia, but please don't do that. You know.
All right. Wait a minute. I'll call him up. Don't worry about it.
You get an offer you can't refuse.
Joey, don't
forget about it.
All right.
Hey, Joey, numbers.
Wrestling Godfather, I come to you on the eve of my daughter's WrestleMania, and I ask you, please, for a favor.
I know the words.
I got Jose on that one.
You come to me on the night of my daughter's wedding.
No, you come to speaking of WrestleMania weddings, dude. Can we talk about that, Jose?
Yeah. So funny thing. So I don't know how many people know about this, but we got invited to a WWE themed wedding this Friday. So we're gonna be covering that this Friday. So it should be fun. There's gonna be 2 couples tying the knot and making their commitment in front of a bunch of WWE fans at Access. So that should be fun. It's going to be fun.
They're going to be doing their vows to you, and what? And then
What?
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's right. But I see the reason I'm not in Dallas is Saturday night I'm covering a wrestling bar mitzvah, WWE.
Oh,
Nice. That's even better. I don't know what's better, wrestling bar mitzvah or a wrestling themed wedding.
I've been to both. But anyway, getting back to what you asked me, Kevin Owens and Stone Cold closing the show, great idea. I mean, Ronda and Charlotte would have been great too, but people are chomping at the bit. That thing Kevin Owens did 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw was so good, where he had on the
I was there. Yeah, I was there, Bill. It got tremendous heat. Tremendous. It was probably one of the hotter angles they've pulled on this year's Road to WrestleMania, which is all over the place. Some of it's really hot, some of it's really cold. That was absolutely like white hot when they did it.
I mean, he pulled it off perfectly. Nobody else could have done that. He was just right, tailor-made for them. So I think it's a great idea ending with that.
Yeah, and then he pulled the Shawn Michaels where they played the music like he was going to interrupt a second time, and no, Kevin's like, got ya.
Yeah, it was everything that Kevin Owens has been doing these last few weeks in this build-up has been tremendous, and we saw that in the ratings last night. I'm not saying that the ratings went up solely because of Kevin Owens, but the show was pretty solid. It was pretty good. A lot of people were paying attention to it, and the ratings went up last night for WrestleMania Raw, and the number was like 1.9 million. It was like the first time it was in that area since last August. Am I right on that, Jeremy?
Yeah, it was about 20,000 away from 2 million. Highest since August 23rd, which might have been the Monday after SummerSlam or before. I don't know. So some good numbers.
And they cracked 2 million in like several quarter hours in the show, and they haven't done that in a while. They haven't done it in a long time.
And yet I watched that show, and it's a Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania, and I did not feel that WrestleMania fever at all.
There's a lot of people that said
Roman
that
Reigns,
online, Bill. Yeah, there was a lot of people that had that same sentiment, that it didn't feel like a go-home show like that.
No, it didn't. And Brock and Roman Reigns in the same building, of course. I would have ended that show with the two of them just in the ring, belt to belt, a stare down, fade out. Wow.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, I know we get a lot of promos on the Road to WrestleMania, but there was 3 minutes of in-ring action the first hour of Raw last night.
Yeah,
3 minutes of wrestling action.
I was disappointed.
Yeah, it was all promos and build-up, which is what they normally do.
Yeah, I was disappointed that The Miz didn't come out wearing the mask and calling himself Mysterio.
Yeah, that'd have been good.
Yeah,
it writes itself. See that? See, they just can't afford.
See, they should have stole the other mask, and then both of them had masks, and it could be, Luchador. What were they calling him last night, Jose?
Lucha Logan,
and then Mysterio,
the greatest luchador from the West Coast.
That would have got that would have got a lot of heat if they entered in at WrestleMania like that, and that's a good idea.
Hopefully
Bill.
they'll do that.
Well, no. Ray got his mask back last night, so
I love it. Is that, wait, that's El Santo.
El Santo, yeah. No, is that Blue Demon?
Yeah, no, this is El Santo. I had this show for a while, but I'm in Austin, Texas, about 3 hours away from Dallas, doing a bunch of radio and comedy stuff. And there is El Santo artwork like everywhere here, which is really, really cool to see.
Yeah, but you know what's in Austin that you don't know exists? Ivan Putski lives there.
Oh, wow. The Polish powerhouse.
Yeah, Polish power. He lives in Austin, Texas.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We got said 214 watching us on YouTube. So it's they confirmed that they are main eventing. Right now, the last word was Stone Cold and KO. The KO show is going to be closing out night one of WrestleMania, according to good old Uncle Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer. So that's what we know right now, Sad. So thank you for your question.
It could change.
It's already changed twice.
It's already changed twice. Absolutely. And speaking of changes, we got word today that Bayley is finally cleared, but we still don't have a return date for her. She's been teasing her return ever since the Royal Rumble, putting small little posts left and right. But we have a little bit more information on what we know now. What's going on here, Jeremy?
Recent edition of Wrestling Observer Radio. Dave Meltzer has said that Bayley is ready to make her comeback at any point now. Of course, Bayley has done many teases. Actually, just recently did a Q&A on her Instagram account as well to provide an update. And she says her knee is doing great. Her ankle is doing great. Her calf is doing great. Her shin is doing great. Her hip is doing great. And her mind is doing great. So it's only a matter of time. I'm not going to tell you when. I don't want all these idiots watching to know when. But I'm going to be coming back soon. Maybe you all better be ready. Better be ready. So
she could be at WrestleMania.
Could be. Maybe they get a surprise team of her and Asuka in that tag and make it a five team tag match.
Make it a furious 5-way.
Or they save her for the Raw after Mania. But I would like a surprise team in there of Bayley and Asuka, or Bayley and Lacey Evans. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the crowd's going to pop big time when we do get Bayley. It's just a matter of when, right? And not if, but when.
Ding dong.
So it makes sense for her to have a WrestleMania spot, but I wouldn't be mad if she has a spot on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Kevin, are you looking for Ivan Putski?
Put him in a headlock.
Are you
I'm looking for him.
He's looking.
If I see a big Polish guy with a beer keg on his shoulder, I'll look for him. He's setting up the party.
Right.
By the way, Ricky Castillo said that he's actually pretty close to you in Austin. That he's on his way to pick you up.
literally pick you up.
Yeah, like literally.
Ricky, hit me up in the DMs. We'll get a beer.
Ricky, you can't be in the show. Oh no, it's the other way around. It's Lucy.
Oh. Hey, now Ricky.
Hey. With the Hardy Bros, they've made their impact in AEW, and now they are looking to make their way down to Mexico, where the big boys of Lucha Libre go. The Hardy Bros are set to debut at one of their biggest shows coming up here in a few months. What's the scoop here, Jeremy?
Yeah, amazingly enough, the Hardy Boys have never been in AAA, but they are set to debut at Triple Mania Tijuana on June 18th in Tijuana, Mexico. They're going to face Dragon Lee and Dralistico, and they're also this team, this pair that they're facing, Dragon Lee and Dralistico, they faced FTR earlier this month at Gira Aniversario Triple X. So they are familiar with some tag teams in AEW, and now they're going to get themselves a taste of the Hardy Boys. I have heard of Dragon Lee before. I've not seen Dralistico before, though.
So in Triple A, they're going to be Hermanos Hardy, right? Right, Bill?
Well, I saw them both on Saturday and spoke with both of them at the Icons of Wrestling convention.
That was the one up in Pennsylvania, right?
The old ECW arena. And I talked to them for 2-3 minutes. They had a line of people waiting for autographs and photographs, probably 5 city blocks long. But they told me how happy they are to be together again as a team, and it's almost like they never stopped being a team. It was wonderful. It just, and I could see the energy that both of them had to continue their careers, like they're just two never-ending young guys.
Yeah, like that hug when Jeff debuted just told the whole story. That hug between Matt and Jeff in the ring. How do you say delete in Spanish?
Borrar. Borrar. You got to roll that R though.
I can't roll my R's. That's one thing I cannot do. I cannot do that at all.
I can. When I was growing up, they had a commercial for Ruffles potato chips, and to get a free bag, you had to go, Ruffles has ridges.
Some more AEW stars are going to appear at Triple Mania. The Young Bucks.
Really?
Ty Conti, Sammy Guevara, and Andrade El Idolo, and Rey Fenix. So apparently Rey Fenix must be healthy as he's going to appear at Triple Mania Triple X. And this actually is in Monterrey this Saturday in April. So Death Triangle, that might be a sign that Death Triangle might be close to reappearing.
Guys, I'm reading some of your comments. If I missed any, go ahead and just retype in your comments. I get a lot of comments that are just flooding in. So if I don't get to it, I'm sorry, but just re-put in your question or comment, and I'll read them as we go. Sorry about that, Bill. Go ahead.
No, I was trying to show you the photo that the Hardys said, "Hey, Bill, get in here. We want to."
Bill's the lost brother.
But
Bill is the lost brother.
Full screen.
There you go.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Very nice.
Yeah, they're very energetic to be.
So before we hop into our last few stories, Kevin, tell us a little bit about Austin, man. What have you been seeing? What have you been experiencing?
And sorry. I didn't want like a big gust of wind while I was on the mic there. I highly suggest if you're ever in Austin, Texas, you have to go to the Museum of the Weird, where I saw a bunch of those El Santo paintings. I'll post some. You guys can follow me on the Twitter machine. I'll post those up after the show at Kellam. And the Museum of the Weird has the Minnesota Iceman and all these like weird freak show things. Some pretty cool stuff. I also enjoyed talking world-class championship wrestling with some people at a bar last night. A man in his 50s said that the Von Erichs are gods here. The Von Erichs are god, and he didn't say it like it was like hyperbole or exaggerating or anything. No, he's like, no, they are. Like the Von Erichs, there's still people that like cherish them. And there is a vibe. There's like maybe a dozen or so people I just ran into just asking me about my New Japan pro wrestling sweatshirt. And they're like, "Oh, are you going to Dallas? You going to Dallas?" So there's a vibe here for it. I wouldn't say it's like simmering like a pot. Mind you, we're 3 hours away, but we're gonna be in Mania, and every other corner is gonna be another guy in a wrestling T-shirt for an entire weekend.
Yeah,
that's tremendous.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I'm happy. I'm having a great time.
Next year,
see you over there tomorrow.
Next year, I will be at all the festivities.
You're gonna be in Hollywood. You're gonna be on the red carpet, Bill.
It's going to Hollywood, if you will, baby.
I'm gonna try myself too.
We'll
some minor breaking news from Fightful Select. Some updates on some of the hot women free agents around the world. Fightful has learned that there is significant interest in bringing in Toni Storm, to the point where many of the talent within the company think it is a matter of time. In regards to Athena, there have been a little bit of talks here and there. They're currently in a feeling out process, and she's also been very selective on her independent bookings as well. In regards to Nixon Newell, who was known as Tegan Knox, she is currently having some visa issues, so they are working through that before she can get any kind of interest with some companies. Of course, there is a big debut set for tonight with not tonight, but tomorrow in the women's side, so it's going to be interesting. Maybe it's Toni Storm tomorrow night.
That would be interesting if we do get Toni Storm and Athena over there at AEW. We'll see, man. That'll be definitely a game changer for that women's division.
Yeah, there's that big debut tomorrow against the Bunny.
At the convention on Saturday, they had Victoria was there. Mickey James had a huge line. But my goodness, why one of the companies has not literally grabbed Scarlett Bordeaux. She's an incredible looking woman, and just to have her even sitting in commentary or anything there, it just shocks me. I mean, I know that WWE, of course, let her go at the same time they let Killer Cross go, but I saw Killer Cross. I didn't recognize him. He came over to me. He says, "Why aren't you talking to me?" He's got a full head of hair.
Yep, for an acting job.
Yeah, but
absolutely.
She was just drop dead gorgeous, and one of the companies needs to get a hold of her and do something with it, because a lot of us males are going to tune in. He recently
showed up at MLW. I don't think, but she hasn't. She didn't show up at MLW. I guess not.
I don't know.
Yeah,
by the way, regarding the Von Erich,
absolutely great. He had a full head of hair. He looks like a total movie star right now.
Yeah. Regarding the Von Erichs being gods in Dallas, they're gods everywhere in Texas. No matter where you go, everywhere. From the time I started covering them, the Boyz, after Fritz, to the time all the bad stuff happened and all that. But even the sons, Kevin's sons, if you're Von Erich, you're extremely special there. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. They're holding a very high regard. My brother tells me all the time he lives in Texas, he lives in Dallas, and every time he does a wrestling joke set, people talking to him about the Von Erich. So.
Yes, of course.
All right, let's jump into our next stories here. We got the Velveteen Dream is back in the news, guys. Last year, he had a very controversial accusation towards him where, he was accused of getting involved with a minor, and he was later on let go. We found out that none of his accusations were true, but nonetheless, he was let go of WWE. Patrick Clark, the real name of Velveteen Dream, put a post earlier today on Instagram and had to say, despite trashy and unsavory allegations against me that I have beat, I'd still would like to have a career within the E at NXT. I was never guilty, and I got a lot of talent, and I'm only 26. Let's effing go. I want to shoot this to you, to Bill. Before all these allegations, to me, Velveteen Dream was one of the big up and comers, man. Like, that guy is so full of talent, so full of charisma. He was over with the crowd, and just this whole situation was just such bad timing. It costed his career. What's your take on this? With Dream wanting to come back to WWE? Do you think WWE will receive him with open arms?
I don't know, but I would love to see that. I've known Patrick Clark since he started for Maryland Championship Wrestling. Great guy, excellent in-ring artist. I mean, really good. And I think since the allegations were proven to be false, I think they should bring him back. Open arms.
I mean, the same thing happened with Riddle. His allegations were proved to be false. I think they probably put him a little bit on the back burner for a while. Now look where he's at. He's at the top of the tag division, featured every night on Monday Night Raw. So I don't see why there is any excuse to not bring back the Velveteen Dream. He was one of the cornerstones of that NXT at Triple H, is one of the top stars. And just that Prince-like persona, I think that can carry over to the main roster.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people thought when that first got started that there was no way he could succeed with a gimmick like that, and he took it and proved everybody wrong. And I think I think WWE would be completely stupid to not bring him back.
I agree.
What's your take on this, Kevin?
1 second. Hey, there we are. It's weird. The problem with the Me Too movement, the speaking out movement, which is a very important cultural one, and Velveteen was kind of more in the later stages of that when it came to wrestling, is there are some people that were accused of things that legally have been absolved of any guilt, or like those allegations have dried out, or they didn't do anything. But I think the problem with this is this situation evolves. Even if you're not guilty of that situation, I'm trying to be considerate of people. In the eyes of many people, when they hear it, it's it. It is the association with it for some people that is something they even if it's not true, or even if it's remotely true, or not exactly what they're accused of, for some people now they don't want to go anywhere near it. And you're starting to see that now with Velveteen Dream even trying to perform as an independent wrestler, let alone in WWE.
Yeah, even if you didn't do it, you're carrying that with you. And somebody just put up a comment that I was going to say too. WWE is a publicly traded company, and they may not want to have, wasn't that the guy that said he didn't do it, but maybe he did do it?
But Riddle was included in all that too.
I know.
Exactly. And another example with Riju, here, do you guys think Enzo would come back too? Enzo was another one who was accused of rape. This guy was accused of a major accusation, and he was completely exonerated. But to back to David Barkley's point and to Bill's point, it's going to be hard for a publicly traded company with a board of directors that's seen globally to bring back under those pretenses. It's very hard for them.
No, regarding Enzo,
but it's also go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, regarding Enzo, in Raju's comment there is we did an interview with him on Saturday at Icons of Wrestling as well, and he's really got his head screwed on correctly right now.
He's looking good.
Talked
He's
to him
looking
for
great.
Quite a while, and I think he'd be a very good commodity for any company right now if they take a chance on him.
Yeah, he's been you've seen him work a lot of different places here lately, but like a guy that you haven't seen absolutely anything of is Marty Scurll, and you still have not seen anything from him.
Marty, yeah.
So it's interesting if they're trying to just lump Marty and Velveteen all in the same type of deal, because I think it was similar situations that both of them were accused of. But at the same time, it's a publicly traded company. But if you've got a court of law saying they're exonerated, I don't see the issue.
It all comes back to the court of public opinion, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's a public opinion thing. Also, another thing that isn't the only situation that led up to or may have contributed that we can see from general knowledge that contributed to Velveteen Dream getting let go. There was some legal stuff that happened to him and that he got arrested for months prior. That was just like some type of assault issue,
exactly.
And him getting into a fight with somebody. It's unclear, but that's documented. That's out there. Then this comes out. It's so there wasn't one strike against Velveteen with WWE here, and also never made it to the main roster. Why are we going to take those risks? Why don't you go and clear your name if you can and do that? Yeah. With Enzo, the reason he got released is he just didn't tell WWE about the situation as it was happening, and that, hey, I have these accusations against me. They're not true. And that's not the way WWE is going to want to handle it. Goodbye. So
he made a mistake.
It's a different situation with every individual person is a different situation. If you sweep them all under the same rug, you aren't judging them based on individual circumstances,
No, but if there was no internet, they'd all still be working.
Oh, yeah.
That's very true. That's 100.
Great point,
By the way,
good point.
For you people who don't know, I know we know, Raju.
What do you mean, you people, Bill?
I'm
just joking. I'm just making
use guys. And the others out there who don't know that Raju is the content manager of the great Sportskeeda wrestling site.
He's the chief of clickbait, as he likes to call himself.
Acknowledge him.
We have a question for you from one of our viewers, from Anthony Manzano. He's asking, Bill, being that both of these wrestling families are from Texas, who is more popular in that state, specifically the Rhodes family or the Von Erichs?
Von Erich.
Yeah, I think so too. Only because the Rhodes family never really stayed in Texas like the Von Erichs did. The Von Erichs were always in Texas. The Rhodes family, of course, from Texas, but they branched out and they were everywhere. The Von Erichs are just a staple of the state of Texas.
Yeah, I mean, when I was talking to somebody at the bar, they brought up Von Erichs and how there was an older fella, and he said, "Oh yeah, no, we went to the Cotton Bowl, and it was a thing. It was a big deal to make those trips and see world class in its heyday." And it's worth noting, it was a Texas powerhouse, but it was a regional thing, and also they were one of the first promotions in the United States to get some serious foothold, along with WWE as a syndicated television show.
Don't let that comment go.
I will not let that comment go. So they were on television in Israel and parts of Africa in a way that WWE wasn't doing yet or was trying to do, and somehow World Class got to do that before they did. So it's kind of crazy when you actually think about that. All that stuff up on the network right now, the tragic World Class documentary that is on the network is a must-watch. Yeah. I know we're getting into all those different things. WrestleMania this weekend. You guys watching the old WrestleManias? I know you've been doing that, Jeremy. You've been on a kick here. Oh, look at that!
Oh,
is that Bill Mascara?
You see me,
That's Bill Mascara.
I met David Barkley this weekend in California. He is also the gentleman. I spent 10 minutes with him on David's most wonderful golf course. Carísimo Máscaras. Apter.
Mil Máscara, gracias por estar en el show con nosotros.
Contra Hebrew.
Thanks for the comment there, David Barkley. We appreciate you. We got Seth over here. He mentioned something about his grandma, which was hilarious. My grandma loves the Von Erichs, and she's 80 years old. So that's how strong they are over there.
Oh, you watched the old. Oh, hey, what happened, Bill? What happened? Where did you were gone there for a minute?
Hey,
hold on, Mill. We'll go to dinner in 10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah,
10 minutes.
Victor Nash got his floor seats, so he's going to be in Dallas this weekend.
We should run a poll for next week somewhere. Rhodes or Von Erichs? Who is the staple of Texas?
Interesting. You know what, Kevin? We're gonna have to do that when we're over there and ask them and ask the fans that are in Texas.
Be the men on the street.
Oh, we're doing some man on the street stuff this weekend. It'll be very, very fun. If you're going to WrestleMania this weekend, you got a costume, we want to find you. So definitely.
Guys, we're gonna call it because we've already gone past our time. I know we had one more story, but we're gonna cut it short.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Seth Rollins' opponent.
I mean, everybody is speculating it's going to be Cody Rhodes, but I'm wondering, like, what if it's going?
Some people think Undertaker.
What if it's Elias?
Some people are saying Undertaker. That is a scary,
you want to take a crack? Do you think it's Cody, or do you think it's going to be someone else?
It could be him.
Could be. He may not even. We can't see him, so we don't know if it's him.
I think.
Why do you think I'm waving it around?
I think it was Russo that said Undertaker, possibly. He says it makes no sense for it to be Cody. That makes no sense for Vince to appoint Cody as a guy, which it makes sense, but a lot of things at WWE don't make sense, so that's why it's going to be Cody.
It can't be Undertaker because there's no reason to kill off Seth Rollins in like a 5-minute.
Yeah, Seth's been on fire.
Though
he can afford to lose this against Cody, and still look fine.
Well, I don't know about that. I think that what they should have done, in my opinion, was last night on Raw, Vince should have said, "These people have been bothering me for 2 years now. This guy, that's your opponent." Seth should have gone, him?
I want you to make an example out of him.
Yeah, he like points to a tablet and Seth just does his Riddler laugh.
That's so annoying, but I love it.
Man,
Seth was. Bill, can we get your take on this? You've followed the business for many, many decades, and you've seen when an effective build pays off with a big match that fans love. People pay their tickets, people watch on television, and they can't turn away from it, right?
Yeah.
Has this clever, some people say too clever thing that WWE is doing, where they're just simply not telling you that like who Seth is going to face? They're not doing it. People can say on the internet, and they're just kind of letting the internet do the talking for them, and they just keep stirring the pot. Is this an effective modern day thing, or should WWE before WrestleMania let you know who Seth is going to face?
No, it's very intriguing to me what they're going to do. I'm a fan, and I want to see what's going to happen. I don't want to know.
Same here.
It's kind of like we're not reporting the obvious, but we're telling you obviously who it is. Kind of like what AEW did with CM Punk, and Kev was in the arena when that happened too. Everybody
sold 22,000 tickets on a rumor.
And on a rumor. So they're basically, it's the new way of promoting and getting interest, drumming interest.
Yeah, I
social
love
media
it
before announcing it or even debuting it on the show, just to get people hyped up for it.
Yep,
it works. It works. All right, guys. Well, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching and tuning in today's Top Story. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're well past our 27,000 subscribers, so thank you to every single one of you. If we didn't get to your comments, we'll jump into the comments after the show and reply to some of you guys, but we really appreciate you taking the time to be. Mil Máscaras, we want to thank Mil Máscaras for joining us today on the show.
No, Mil Máscaras.
Bill Máscaras.
Bill
Máscaras. It's Bill Máscaras. So thanks to Bill Máscaras to coming to the show. Kevin for tuning in from Austin, Texas, and we'll be meeting up tomorrow, hopefully. So thank you guys. Again, set your notifications to see first and your notification bell on YouTube, because we're going to be dropping a lot of content here in the weekend. We got the NXT post show. We got the night 1 and night 2 post show. We got the predictions. We're going to have interviews. We're going to have Man on the Streets. We got the Mania Minutes right now on Instagram getting thousands of views. So thank you guys for all the support and continue showing us love. We love every single one of you. For Bill Mascaras, for Jeremy Bennett, for Kevin Kellam, I'm Jose G. And remember, when you're watching wrestling, you have to do the most important thing, which is what, gentlemen?
Enjoy wrestling.
Yeah.
I have a question.
What's that, Bill Mascaras?
Is Lucha Libre fixed?
No sabía that he was broken.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh.